So I'm going to talk you around this exhibition, this virtual exhibition that I created for Blackpool School of Arts uh, in response to the COVID lockdown last May, June time. They'd usually have an on-site exhibition. Obviously that couldn't go ahead, so I was approached to create this virtual exhibition for them to give the students the sense of being part of an art exhibition. This does a very good job. We've had some fantastic feedback for it, and we've had over 8,000 visits to it, which is far more than we'd get in a standalone exhibition in a venue. It's split into two parts. Got the FE on the left and the HE on the right. I'm just going to quickly run into the FE. Okay, so this is the FE space. I've tried to make these spaces big with space, make them feel like a really awesome space to be in, which adds the experience of the whole thing and adds the experience of being in a gallery. Now I've designed it with the minimal amount of jump points in mind. So I'm viewing this in Cooler.co, which is a really stable and fast loading and accessible platform that allows you to create a tour. So I create the space in Unreal Engine, and then I export 360 renders, and I place those into Cooler, and I link them all together via these jump points. But I want to keep the jump points to the minimum amount possible, just to make viewing the space really simple. So we have an external space, but like a foyer space, if you like, but then it leads into these octagonal partition galleries. And the reason why it's octagonal is because it allows each work to be viewed from the same distance from the single jump point. Now each piece of work has an info point, has an info link, sorry about that, that has the student's name appears to it, or artist name, and then when we click on that, it gives us a gallery of their extra work. Okay, and you can see we can jump through these spaces very, very quickly, and it works very well even on quite old computers and mobile phones because of the way it loads up. It also allows us to load other media other than photography. So in the little cards that come up, we can put a little YouTube icon, and when we click on that, that can bring up a video, so we can watch videos through this media as well. Okay, I'll head back towards the HE. Okay, you can see it moves very smoothly in between spaces. So let's have a look at the HE space. So the previous space had about 45 students represented in that space, and it's about the same number in here. So we have photography, fashion, and graphic design in here. And we jump around in the same way, and you can see that the photography is always about the same distance away from each jump point. Now I could have doubled or tripled the number of jump points, but I really wanted to make this accessible and easy to navigate. The cards also have more information, so it can actually say something about the student's work or the artist's work, but also have links to their website or emails. This space I wanted to be a far more serious space. I wanted it to be more dramatic, have more weight to it. Now I like to use particularly simplified spaces, because to me it's the artworks that are the most important thing. The space should add to the experience, but shouldn't take away from the experience of viewing the artworks themselves. So you won't find any chairs in these galleries. It has no ceiling because you don't need ceiling. In a VR gallery, you're not going to get wet from the weather. I've just stopped by this piece because this student actually created a VR exhibition of her own work, this fine art student, and I can jump out of my space into her space by clicking on that, so I can view and look around her exhibition, which is really, really interesting and a really nice thing that I've been able to do. Now we can jump back into my gallery. Now this space was created in Unreal Engine 4. That means that there's also a full VR version of this that can be viewed through a VR headset, that you can walk around and jump around the space to view it. And it's a particularly nice way of doing that because you can walk right up to the work, and the VR holds the resolution of the original photograph, so you can walk right up to it and you can see all the detail that you can't necessarily see in this simulation in the same way. Now you can view the Cooler exhibition through VR, but it's very basic VR. But because this also exists as a full VR, obviously it can be viewed through a headset, which isn't great at the moment because it's very hard to share headsets around in this time of COVID. Some more photography work. And this is work by the fashion students who've also included videos in their work, because they couldn't obviously have a fashion show. So yeah, about 85 students in total took part in this exhibition. I try, to me, other than the weight of the space, light is really important. And I have a photography background. I work in photography, and I've got a real sense of how the lighting should look. And that's what I've used to attempt to make a space that feels real. So I've used careful use of lighting, textures, and colours.